Okay, so and then I mean it's a little bit slow at parts, which is kind of one of the problems I have with this movie.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There was at about, I want to say, between the first third and um, a little into the halfway point, kind of just this crawling pace of the family just being cold in a house and not a lot happening besides them being worried about what they were going to do. And that really did seem to drag on for too long.
And I think another problem was the fact that I feel like there were a little bit too many characters in this one. I think I would have pretty much, kind of erased like the, little baby character the other family had and this other fat kid because I feel like they didn't really contribute to the story that much.
Oh, Diabito was great. Are you kidding me? This kid, he literally didn't say anything. He just exuded fatness
I
through
mean,
his
his
pores.
mouth never closes. I'm not talking about he talks at all. It's just that the kid's so fat that pretty much he doesn't have the strength to close his mouth all the way. I think you're pretty much acted like the average, high school teenager when the fappening happened.
Yes, that is true, but that was supposed to be the breath rate of this, 6 to 8 year old child. Absolutely funny. And that whole country bumpkin family was just a piece of work. I thought that was um, funny. And whoever the guy who needed the Rogaine was, the other dad, he was pretty great. And I know he's been in a lot of other comedy things.
Oh, Adam Scott?
Yeah, Adam Scott, that's him.
Scott, as you would say.
Scott, that is
I mean,
Scott.
finally, the only person with a name we actually can easily pronounce.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, okay, that's not the point. But anyway, I feel like when stuff happens, like when the, Krampus's minions come, like the toys and that, it's really good. I mean, it's kind of like Gremlins, except a lot darker and more crazy.
I definitely got a Gremlins feel from it too. I think that's interesting that you mentioned that. Yeah, there were no, little adult twists like vibrators or anything coming to life. Sorry.
Ew, better not. I mean, well, that would be the R-rated version of Krampus. I mean, I
Probably
know
true.
there's been other direct-to-video movies of Krampus, but this is probably the best version of Krampus we're gonna get.
Toy Story 4.
They're already making it, but and then also the part where I think there's like gingerbread men coming to life and kind of like attacking one of the dad characters, and he pretty much fires the shotgun near where I think some I don't know like something that would make an explosion if you shot it, and it pretty much obliterates the gingerbread men, and it's hilarious.
And it burst them on fire. And what did you say?
Directed by Michael Bay.
Yes. That was perfect. Perfectly done.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and then also it was hilarious how I think, one of the gingerbread men are charging the dad, and then we see like the dog eat one of them.
Yeah, yeah. People at first weren't sure what it was, but
I kind of saw it
knew as
coming.
I knew as soon as I heard the. Um,
Yeah, and then there was other stuff like there was like the Jack in the Box thing that was like attacking people, and then we had this demonic teddy bear, and so on and so forth.
I still think the Jack in the Box may have been the coolest thing in my opinion in that movie.
I have to say that maybe the teddy bear.
I mean, he looked creepy, but he wasn't that big. That was the thing. Like
Yeah,
that.
sure, he had like a lot of energy in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that. But then I think when we do see Krampus, I mean, he looks really good, at least in like silhouette. Like when he's there, he's actually really physically there. Like, pretty much animatronics and makeup. And then there's times where he like moves quick, but CGI, that's the only way they could do it. But it looked really well because they kept him in the shadows.
Right. He definitely had a great presence throughout this, and um, I mean, when you actually finally see him, which is probably like, what do you think, halfway, 2/3 of the way through it,
Yeah, it's not until maybe the climax of the film we see his face.
they pull a Jaws on you basically, where it's they don't show it till towards the end, but
Yeah, too many of these movies, like horror movies nowadays, kind of follow the real Jaws too much, I would say.
definitely I would agree with that.
Yeah, but it doesn't really hurt the movie that much. I
No.
just felt like what really hurt this film was the pacing.
In that one part, I still don't think it's enough to make people, not see it or that they shouldn't see it because it was worth watching. But, the DVD version, you could fast forward if you needed to.
Yeah, true.
So,
But yeah, I mean, there's some other stuff that I'm trying to think what else. I mean, I think we pretty much covered almost everything we wanted to say about the film.
well, I was gonna say that, like, oh, let's see here. Well, the visuals I did like throughout it pretty much,
Yeah, they're pretty good.
but I must say that the fact that so much of the atmosphere around it was dark, and it made sense for the tone, but with some of the camera angles and with some of the things, the creatures moving about in the darkness, I got the feeling we were supposed to see them, but it was hard to.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the camera kind of like wasn't steady, and I feel like that's kind of a recent cliche in films, and I really hope it goes away. I mean, seriously, people, is it really so hard to put a camera on a tripod?
Shaky cam, aka Parkinson's direction.
Well, it wasn't nearly as bad as like Quantum of Solace's directing and editing.
That is true. Or Battle Los Angeles. If you haven't seen that, that is literally like, get this person to a hospital. There's something wrong
And
with
the
him.
Bourne films, I would say.
They weren't. Yeah, okay. Bourne does definitely have that, but it's. Battle Los Angeles was worse than the Bourne films in terms of that shaky cam. You gotta see it. It's ridiculous.
I think before we give our reviews, I want to say, like, I mean, it's really bad that people who celebrate Christmas not only, have to endure the whole happy holidays. It's Merry Christmas for most people, but, I mean, people who celebrate Christmas have bad enough that, Krampus could come in. Can you imagine if there was, like, a Krampus for, like, people who celebrate Hanukkah? Yeah, I think it's called Hitler.
Oh no!
I don't know that German grandma that was in the character. I'm surprised she wasn't planning on being like a little bit of Krampus action for people to Hanukkah or whatever.
Right on, my man. Yeah, like she
Having a heil of a good time.
she was totally looking down at the main character, the little Juden boy.
Okay.
But yeah, I definitely came out of this with a pretty good feeling about it. It wasn't. I honestly feel, if anything, the very end was probably what made it go, from a really good movie to a nah, okay, yeah, I accept that.
Yeah, I
Type of
would
movie.
agree with you on that. So, what would you give this movie, Steven?
Well, thinking about it, I would give this movie a 84%. I have thought about that on our way home here, and even though the atmosphere was really spooky outside with the fog and everything.
Oh yeah, that was pretty interesting. But yeah, I'd rather be driving through fog than a bunch of snow. And oh yeah, remember in the movie they say, "Oh, this ain't global warming" or whatever, and I'm like, "This is global warming. They can stay because I don't want to shuffle ever again."
Yeah, no comment.
All right, so I think I should give my review. I would say that Krampus definitely had its moments, like especially in the beginning. I think is easily the best part. I'd say this Christmas movie is pretty much one of those more morbid Christmas movies that you wouldn't really watch with the family, but more with friends. It's kind of like The Nightmare Before Christmas, except that's more family friendly. But it's more like Gremlins or Die Hard or even Batman Returns, where yeah, you just would watch it with friends or by yourself. You want something that's kind of a Christmas film, but not the one you would watch every single year with the family and that. I mean, there were really funny stuff in this movie that I liked and enjoyed. There were some, cool creature designs and whatever, but I just felt like it wasn't that bad. I mean, is it better than like, the Green Inferno? I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
But, it's definitely not like It Follows. Like, I think that's the best horror movie of this year.
I think it may very well be one of the best this year, period, but that's talk for another day.
Yeah, true. I mean, I might make like a video for like the top 10 best worst movies I've seen this year
Mm.
or something like that. But yeah, overall Krampus, it's an interesting time, and if you know the director of this movie, going in, you'll know what to expect and you'll probably enjoy this one. So overall, I would give Krampus about 2.5 stars out of 4.
Okay, yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I
That's
might go 2 3/4, but that's me being a perfectionist. So,
2.75.
yeah, a jagged star.
All right. So anyway, this is Unscripted. This is Tyler from Endcard Reviews.
And Steven from Steven Lawson Studios.
Yeah, and have a merry,
Merry Krampus and a
yeah, Merry Krampus.
and a happy new death.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. One thing we gotta talk about. They talk about like what's next, the Rabbit Easter Bunny, and I remember looking at you, saying like sequel idea.
Yes, absolutely. Rabbit starts crucifying people with carrots and throws eggs at them.
Oh, okay. Hopefully he's listening to this so he actually can do that. Maybe it'd be like, Tusk with Kevin Smith, like, oh yeah, I had this idea, and then he, created Tusk. Just so hopefully that happens. And if it does happen, I kind of want my cut, please.
Copyright 2015.